Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in the home niche. Created in June 2016, this business makes $4,469 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the business is 46685. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the asset they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Jonathan.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. So before we get started, I'm going to do a quick summary of the business. So this business was built in June 2016. This business has monthly revenue of $26,395, has monthly expenses of $21,926, and is producing a net profit of $4,469, and that's based on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of the business are domain and all-site content and files, seller central account with 8 SKUs, trademark, and a Walmart account. Tell me a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses.
Sure. So I started selling in 2014. At this point, I have 3 FBA businesses, and I'm having trouble managing all 3. This is the one that I'm neglected the most. I've set it up so it's pretty passive. But yeah, when I started selling on Amazon, I was throwing everything to the wall to see what stuck. On this product, I needed something in my house that I couldn't find on Amazon, and it didn't fit with anything else that I was selling. So I was in the novelty and joke space, but I threw this up as a product, and it ended up being successful to the point where customers were asking for me to create different variants, and I launched those. So at this point, there's 8 SKUs, and they're all in the home space, and it doesn't fit with the other 2 businesses. So I figured, since I'm neglecting this business and not focusing on it, I should split it off and give it to someone who could maintain it and take it to the next level.
Oh, that's interesting. How did you come up with the idea to start this particular business?
So it was 2014, and I was just throwing anything to the wall to see what stuck. And like I said, I was in the novelty business. This was a product that I needed, and I figured that I was not unique in that problem. So I custom designed and manufactured overseas and threw it on Amazon to see what would happen. Little did I know that what uses the Amazon algorithm more than anything is when a customer purchases a product and then comes back a month or 2 later and buys 2 or 3 more. And this product happened to be something that those customers were doing. So basically, this product rose to the top and became a success. So I launched a bunch of different variants of it. But yeah, my primary business was the novelty business, and this was a shelving brand within that. So I kind of split this out to its own business separate from that. So that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah. So it sounds a little bit like a kind of a snowball effect. You started in one place, and all of a sudden you've kind of ended up somewhere totally different. So that's great. How does this primarily make money, this business?
It's through the FBA model. So the majority of the sales are through Amazon FBA. I do have a Shopify site set up that's linked to the Walmart account, and there's a steady stream of sales coming from Walmart, but I would say 90% of sales are coming through Amazon FBA.
Why did you choose this business model?
So I got into FBA by accident. The first product I sold was a cape, an American flag cape. And I was mailing everything in myself. I was trying to sell on eBay. I didn't have any luck with my own website. And then I looked to Amazon, and I listed the capes on Amazon and found some success with that. And once I realized that as a proof of concept, Amazon was something that you could scale up endlessly as a single person, I decided to quit my job and go full time in with launching a series of products. So yeah, it's Amazon FBA is one of the most exciting business models out there.
Well, on that note, obviously you said you have a couple of businesses, so I think you've kind of answered this in a way, but I'm going to re-ask. Why are you selling the business instead of keeping it and growing it?
The biggest thing for me is I just don't have the time. So I have 3 businesses now. This is the one I've not paid any attention to. I have it pretty passive. I do the reorders quarterly, so I set it up where every 90 days I have to run all the numbers and place a new order for what's going to 3 months of inventory. But other than that, I don't pay attention to it other just to check in on it. And in neglecting it and not growing the business, I just kind of feel guilty because I'm putting all my attention on the other two businesses. And I think if you found the right buyer, they could take this very far if they were passionate about shelving. I kind of did it without thinking it through. And it's profitable and it makes a lot of money. It's pretty passive. But yeah, I haven't dedicated the time to grow it further than what it actually could potentially be.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is there anything you learned from this business that you will apply to future sites or businesses? What did you learn from building this site that did work?
I've learned so much from the Amazon FBA model, just seeing how you can scale a business, a single person online. Yeah, just the way that Amazon thinks about growth. This product, like I mentioned earlier, it's if someone buys one and then comes back and buys 2 or 3 more, that is the number one thing that Amazon rewards. And they love seeing not only can you do the work up front to acquire that first customer, but then that customer stays a customer and goes back and rebuys over time. So yeah, seeing just how that's the best business model to have online.
Absolutely. I think that's a great answer. On the flip side, of course, so what have you tried that didn't work?
Oh boy, I tried. So like I said, I was throwing everything to the wall to see what stuck. And I tried whiteboards, I was doing magnets, and my strategy, and this was early on, and now I'm a little more experienced to hone and look before I leave, basically run the numbers before I actually pick a product. But at the time I was just throwing anything up on Amazon. I tried bowl sets, I tried all sorts of stuff that I didn't really have much success with, that now I know to run the numbers first, see what the demand is before I launch something new.
Yeah, I feel like that's a typical answer here from a lot of entrepreneurs. So it seems to be a lot of people in that boat, just trying things and seeing what works. To get into traffic and earnings for a minute, where does the majority of your traffic come from?
So I would say 90% of it's on Amazon. I have PPC set up for the new owner. So I would say like 80 hours. I've done whole courses on how to learn PPC and master it. And I've set it up so that the new owner really just has to check in it periodically and make sure that it's still running profitably. Setting up the PPC on Amazon takes a good amount of time, but if you've done it properly, you really don't have to touch it much. Maybe check it once a month just to make sure that nothing's gone wildly out of control. But yeah, that should be set up for the new owner, that they wouldn't have to touch it often.
Yeah. And what do you currently do in terms of marketing?
In terms of marketing, I do Amazon pay-per-click, and that's about it. I don't do anything for the Shopify site. I don't do anything on the Walmart account. So a new owner would be able to go in, and if they ran Walmart ads or Google AdWords or Facebook ads, there's a lot of room for growth that I just haven't had the time to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you just tell me a little bit about the process of getting inventory to Amazon?
Sure. So the supplier of this product, they are very professional. It's manufactured in China. I have it all arranged. So I used to have all the stuff come to my apartment, but now I've arranged it with the supplier to ship it straight to Amazon. So it goes right from the factory to Amazon, and I don't have to see the physical product. I have an inspection company check the goods to make sure they're high quality before they leave the factory. And yeah, it goes straight to the Amazon FBA warehouses.
Perfect. If you were to keep the business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
So the ways I've been trying to grow it now is that the way that this product's set up is there's I would say 3 or 4 different demographics that are buying it. And what I've done is double down in that niche. And there's a lot of opportunity for a new owner to sell accessories in each one of those niches. So this is in the home goods category. There's actually 2 of the SKUs that I've recently launched that have had the highest margins have been in the pet space. But yeah, like Sarah said, this was majority home goods. But I think a new owner could expand and grow accessory products within niches within the customer demographics that are purchasing this product.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like a lot is happening, and that definitely the way you've broken it down through the whole interview, there's some very good nuggets that buyers should be paying attention to. So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, we do have to cover risks. They're part of every business. So what do you think are the biggest risks with this site that a buyer should be aware of?
I think, there's always competition. I think just keeping tabs on the competitor SKUs, but The way that I've set it up, it's an intimidating SKU for a new competitor to get into, and it has the most reviews and the best pictures, and it's branded the best out of all the competitors. So I think as long as you maintain all of those things, and if new competitors show up, kind of squash them, that's the biggest risk, I think, to the business. And the beauty of this is that it seems like a product that's intimidating to get into, and really the first competitor that's even been a threat came like 3 years after into the business. And I guess this is more information than this answer can be, but if you have a few friends that can leave a 1-star review, that'll stop them dead in the water. So you don't have to worry about it.
Your secret's safe with me and
Yeah.
maybe YouTube viewers. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's good. It's good to hear that side of things. Can you describe the amount and type of work you do on the business for maintenance?
Sure. I put 3 hours a week, but I think it's less than that. I didn't want to lowball it. So the way I've structured it is that every 90 days, quarterly, I place the order with the factory. I run all the numbers for the next future 90 days, and then I order that much inventory. So there's 4 major times a year where I spend, I would say, 5 hours making sure I've got all the numbers checked, and then working with the supplier to get the estimate and the quote, and then transfer the money and all of the rest of that stuff. And then it takes them about a month to produce it, and then you have to schedule an inspection of the goods, and then you work with them after the inspection to arrange the shipping. So it ends up on any given week, it could be nothing on most weeks, but then the weeks that you do have to do work, it could be like 5 hours once a quarter. And then periodic maintenance on the Amazon pay-per-click campaigns, I would say you can do that once a month, and then just kind of every few days check to see how the competition's doing. So I still would say 3 hours a week because I don't want to lowball it, but I've set it up so it's relatively passive.
Yeah, I think that being said, obviously businesses, they attract many different kinds of buyers, and someone might be interested in this business who isn't super familiar with Amazon FBA. So I think a question that's going to be on their minds is, what skills or requirements are there for someone not familiar with the niche or business model? What advice would you give to them?
I think the biggest advice is that YouTube is your friend. For Amazon FBA at this point, they've kind of saturated the market, and they have great seller support. If you don't understand something, you can open a ticket with Amazon. There's plenty of YouTube experts out there that will give you advice on how to run it. Once it's set up, it's pretty passive. You just got to keep track of it. But yeah, I think, like I said, Amazon FBA it's the only thing out there that lets a single person scale up to a level of beyond what you could ever do in any point in human history before now.
Absolutely. I love that. Would you commit to a non-compete?
Definitely.
Awesome. And how much support are you offering buyers?
I'm willing to have Skype calls, seller support, create standing operator procedure, just walk them through the basics of how to run the business and any questions that they have. It can be daunting to jump into Amazon FBA, but I think I'm a pretty good coach if I need to be.
That's always a good thing to have. We find that, sellers that are offering ample support, that tends to really help in the buying process. So it's great. It's great to hear that you're offering all that. Last question, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
I'd prefer to sell it outright, but I'm open to possibilities.
Great. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this business is worth buying?
I think the fact that it's pretty low maintenance, and I think that the amount, if you're willing to do work to grow new product lines and accessories, there is a lot of potential customers. The amount of people searching for the brand name, it actually shows up in the auto search results as related to this product. So the brand, there is some recognition out there that people are searching for it. So I think if you were the right buyer and you wanted to expand into the demographics that are buying this and create all new products that you could sell as complementary, yeah, there's a lot of room for growth there.
Absolutely. Jonathan, this has been a great interview. I really appreciate having you on. Before we close out, I'm going to open up the floor. Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about? Anything you'd like to add? Any notes for the buyer that you'd like them to know?
Yeah, so if you look at the graph, July 2019 and August 2019, the sales have dipped off. That's because I've transitioned the SKUs into their own seller account, and Amazon was confused why that was unusual, and they were investigating the SKUs, and it became a whole mess on my end that I was dealing with Amazon. So in September's numbers, this is recorded mid-September. At the end of September, they should go back up, and they've already surpassed what's there for July and August. It was a headache that I had to deal with to prep this business for sale, but rest assured to the buyer, I've taken care of everything. They won't have to even worry about it, but they'll have a brand new Amazon seller account with brand registry 2.0, with all of the SKUs set up and all of the PPC campaigns set up within that account, so they don't have to worry about it. The dip was I had to stop PPC in the one account to move it to the next, and it was a whole headache that I was taking on so that I could prep it for sale. So that's a long way of saying that the dip is temporary and that it should go back up in September for any buyer.
Excellent. No, I think that's a really good note. Well, Jonathan, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. Really excited for the sale of your business and looking forward to getting this seller interview live soon.
All right. Thanks, Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you.